Alright, hello. I'm not gonna really have much going on in the background, just a little video playing. I'm just gonna be kind of talking about some of the stuff that people have submitted. Yeah, I kind of mainly just wanted to see what competitions people were more interested in that have been run in the past. Hello, Dawn. Wanted to see what kind of competitions people actually wanted based on what we've run and seeing what else we can kind of do behind the scenes in terms of like running the Discord server and stuff, or how we interact with everybody. I got about 30 responses, so pretty decent amount of people. Most people answered like every question, which is nice. I don't think none of them were required. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I know, Dawn, do you think I should like ping people? Or do you think me just posting the link in the announcements is fine for now? Hello, Lassie. Yeah, I just downloaded some like ambient video from Half-Life 2. I'm like, this is good enough. So it's just, I think it's just the bridge. It's just the bridge, different shots of the bridge and stuff. There's sound as well on it, but I have it muted, and I have a different like Half-Life inspired ambient. All right. Oh, you know what I can do? I can utilize the new role I made. And that should ping people who responded. Yeah, we got a decent amount. I mean, a lot of it, let's see. I'm not really going to go into too much in detail on any of the actual like specific competitions, but I will talk about which ones were like the favorites and which ones were not the favorite, because some people had some very, very straight to the point opinions on certain competitions. So well, we'll go over those and like briefly. I'm not gonna there's like 40 competitions I put in this, so I'm not gonna spend the time to go through each and every one. But yeah, there's enough opinions on here that we should kind of go over some of them. Anyways, what I'll do is when this is done and it's like uploaded after the stream is over, I'm gonna go through and like set up the chapters so people can like jump through and go to specific pieces of stuff, like topics we're gonna discuss. So hello, Ivan Shungrev. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start, and then as people come in, if people have questions and stuff, we can kind of talk about that. But so first of all, this is like about the community section in general. Hello. I think I mentioned this when I initially posted the survey, but the actual most of the questions were oh, I didn't give you that role yet? You're right, because I think you were the last one to submit. That's why. Give me 1 second. I'll give it to you right now. I think everybody else has it then. Yeah, you're right. I didn't give it to you yet. Oops. not everybody obviously wanted to like put their name attached to the survey, so not everybody got the role, but whoever did get, hopefully I remember get to get everybody. I think you were the only one I forgot. Anyways, yeah, so the questions originally came from the original survey that they ran like 5 years ago, and I just modified the questions I thought were going to be more relevant and left what I thought was all right to keep. So for example, how satisfied are you with the Discord channel organization? Basically everybody put satisfied or very satisfied or neutral. I had one person put dissatisfied, but I didn't really get any feedback on what that was about. In terms of resource availability, everybody else as well said satisfied or very satisfied. A couple of neutral, one dissatisfied. Questions being answered in a timely fashion. Again, that was split basically down the middle between satisfied and neutral. Server rule set, again, most people put satisfied. A couple more people put very satisfied. One person came in here and put like dissatisfied on everything except for big staff interaction. There was about 30 people that responded. Yeah, the basically across the board, everybody was pretty satisfied with all the questions regarding the organization, the resources, questions being answered, rule enforcement, the rules that we do have, the staff interaction, with the exception of the small staff interaction. There was a lot of people who put like neutral and a couple that put dissatisfied, which I'm not sure if people put neutral just because they didn't really have an opinion on it, or because they just didn't want to put they were dissatisfied. That was kind of the only one that was the outlier, was staff the small staff moderation or moderator interaction. But for the most part, the actual people are satisfied with the server itself, which is good to hear, I guess. I like that. In terms of considerations and additions to the community in general, a lot of people really do not care for game nights, with like half of the responses being they didn't have opinion on it, and then the other half were split between interested and uninterested. So that just kind of seems like I think that's just going to be a thing where if somebody's interested in the game that's being run, they'll probably hop in, or they won't. Like, I don't know. I mean, game nights are still going to happen. I know Niker's been talking about wanting to do more, but we'll have to see what happens with that. I know I was trying to plan on doing like a once a month thing where we just like pick a game and just hop in, like Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, or just something that everybody has or can get. Don't interact with small staff enough to have much of an opinion on them, really, so that's why I was rather indifferent. Yeah, I can see that being an option, like a consideration as well, just that you just haven't interacted with them a lot, which that was kind of the point of the question, was like, do you feel like you have sufficient interaction, like not in terms of just even like talking to them, but do you feel like they're present? But the next one for considerations was the return of featured entries. I think if we were to do this, it would just, obviously, because we were using the Discord banner, and I'm not sure if before, if we were just like posting an announcement about them, but a lot of people seem to have wanted featured entries back, which is nice because it shows off entries that, you know, we've got like what, over 100 entries in the last 7 years. I don't think small staff were there to do much other than respond to moderator issues. Yeah. They can't do. I mean, they have just as much quote unquote powers as like big staff. Like they can still ban people, they can still time people out, they can do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they were kind of there just to kind of help support the actual the admins. So yeah, so for featured entries, I think we would probably just go back to doing just making a post in the Austin's channel and have a thing to have the entry in there, and instead of having to worry about the banner. I think we stopped doing the featured entries because we didn't have the boosts for the banner, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we can take a break from it for now, and then it just never happened again. But I think we can do that again. That's I mean, it's easy enough to do the featured entries for that. More assets. Overwhelmingly very interested in more assets and resources. Not really sure exactly what we could do for that yet. Maybe we can just post more community made assets into our community channel. I know some people have been working on a lot of stuff, and like for example, like with Halloween Horror 7, Beef made a bunch of cool like additions to like the Combine helicopter, and he had a bunch of other assets that people were wanting to use that he was telling me he was gonna like clean up before he would like send them to me. So if anyone has any ideas for extra like assets we can throw in the community assets channel, or any other assets you would like to see in general, that'd be helpful to get, because other than community stuff, I don't know what people want. For terms of emojis, it's kind of across the board. Like I personally don't really care about the Discord emojis. I use like the 2 of them, but it's across the board with most of the responses being neutral in terms of wanting new or updated emojis, which I get. I mean, again, emojis aren't they're not holding this server together, you know. In terms of live streams, we got 50-50 on, yeah, I'm interested in live streams, and no, not interested in live streams. So that'll probably be something I'll think on a little bit and see what we can do with that. Then the goal with live streams was just to kind of like bring on like entrants and talk about their entries, or maybe stream like game nights and all that kind of stuff, so people who can't be around can at least like see what's going on and see what we do for those kind of stuff. YouTube, a lot of people were very interested in that. So I will have to, okay, so here's the problem with that. I would very much like to do live streams and the YouTube and all that kind of stuff on the Map Labs account, but the problem is I don't have access to any of that. I don't have that access to the emails associated with it. I don't have access to the like any logins or all. Now, this is like I was given a house but not given the keys, so I'll have to see what I can do about that. I don't know if I'm particularly too interested in creating new accounts just to do that, but I'll have to see what I can do with that. Otherwise, like if it really comes down to it, I could do that. But yeah, a lot of people are very interested in like YouTube content, because I think the dev commentaries and interviews and even just like doing walkthroughs of entries in general is good, because that'll help people figure out what to do, because I know some entries can be a little confusing and people get lost and it's frustrating. Might be able to set you up on the RTSL YouTube. Yeah, I mean, whatever we can figure out that'll work would be great, because I mean, I can use my own this personal channel here, but I don't know if I want to funnel everybody from Map Labs over here just to do a quote-unquote official Map Labs content. One second, I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. Yeah. But actually, there was no one hit uninterested or very uninterested for YouTube, so it looks like YouTube is something we should definitely consider. And then for the last one, which is opt-in role for non. Yeah, that's what I said. I could always consider making a new one, but then we've got 2 map labs. 2 map labs, because the map labs Twitch and I mean, though I really don't want to use Twitch. Map labs Twitch and YouTube channels already exist, so we would just have to like link people to the other one, and I know that'll get a little confusing, but we'll figure it out. Would be official map labs content? That, I mean, yeah, that would just be like I said, like developer interviews, like having little chats with people talking about their entry and why they did certain things. I'll see you later, Done. Yeah, we would talk about their entries, like I said, do the walkthroughs and interviews and all that kind of stuff. And then if we would do the live streams would be there as well. Because I really would not, I don't like Twitch. Twitch has become such a horrible platform to use lately. I was watching a stream on Twitch the other day, and it was a miserable experience getting 3 minutes of ads to watch 1 minute of a live stream to get 3 more minutes of ads, and that is horrible. Atomic, just want to pop in and say thanks for running the forum and answering questions. We'll watch this later. Yeah, thank you for submitting questions. I do want to say, like, a lot of people left me very nice messages at the end of the survey. I appreciate it. It was very nice to read. If the old channel is actually old, then it's less bad, especially if you be above it in the algorithm. Yeah, I mean, there's literally, I think there's only one video on there, and it's a video of the background map from Crossfire, I think. And Crossfire is ancient history at this point. It's so old. Like, it's a very old competition. So I mean, yeah, you make a good point with that. I'd honestly love dev interviews. I'd force myself to do one. Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, if anyone remembers the old podcast that I did years ago, I think this was I don't remember when it was, but it was a long time ago. And I talked with a few people from Map Labs. I think I did like 4 or 5 episodes before work struck and I got caught up in that and wasn't able to commit time to it anymore. But yeah, that's basically what it would be like. It'd be like half an hour chats or whatever, just talking about entries and the developers themselves and all that kind of stuff, because I think it is fun. It's just fun talking to people and seeing what their thought process is. Hello, BMD and Bogey. Yeah, because I guess there's a delay on this. I didn't realize how big it was. I'm gonna just give it a couple of minutes in between questions, just so people can ask what they want and stuff. Yeah, and also if there's anything that the survey didn't ask, or just things you want to ask me in general, feel free to jump in and just ask, and I can go over that. Hope my my stream actually stabilizes for long enough for me to go over this thing. Hello, Dan's Cart. Any other forms of social media you think we should expand to? I regret asking this question because as soon as I published the survey, I immediately remembered how much of a miserable place all these other social media platforms are, and I really don't. I don't want to have to worry about managing that. A lot of people said Blue Sky. There was people, and another chunk of people said YouTube's just like posting YouTube announcements and to trailers and tutorials and stuff. I think anyone asked me about map labs related to map labs winners. How would you feel if someone wins a comp they can't end another? That means we would have nobody left to enter the competitions because we pick 3 winners, so we're gonna neutralize 3 winners from. Well, I guess they can't win another, but I don't know. It's yes, there are people in general who are pretty good at what they do and they consistently win, but the one person I'm thinking of consistently submits as a bonus entry, so they can't win anyways as a bonus. But if we don't get a lot of entrants, there's not really much we can do about that. Like if a competition only has 3 entries and those 3 entrants have won before, then nobody wins this competition is kind of lame. I understand what you're coming from, but in my personal opinion, I don't really look at when I was entering these competitions before, I was not entering them to win. I was entering them to learn, like improve my skill levels of level design and figure out what I needed to improve on, and I really didn't care if I won or not. I was just mainly looking at my numbers as like a solid piece of feedback of like where I am at in terms of my level design skills. But like I understand what you're coming from. Someone being 2 meat products. Yeah. You know who we're talking about. I honestly don't. Besides Beef, I don't think of anybody else who is consistently winning competitions. And even then, like I said, Beef isn't consistently winning competitions anyways because he 90% of his entries are bonus entries anyways, which cannot win. It just comes down to we need, like, if we do that, we need more people who can enter competitions, and if we can't guarantee that, I'm not gonna arbitrarily limit people winning because they're good at what they do. I mean, I could always, there's nothing stopping me from doing an honorable mentions for competitions, like we've done it before. But yeah, I don't want to punish people who are good at what they do because they're good at what they do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people do, yeah. Hello, Splendid Dog. Yeah, a lot of people complain about Beef. I guess the flip side, it would be discouraging to enter competition knowing you can't win because some shit map from 2 years ago won it. Yeah, that's what I'm like. It arbitrarily is limiting winning because you, yeah, like. What was one time I recently he did submit as a bonus entry, I beat him. Yeah, was it that your I think I know what entry you're talking about. I just don't know what competition it's from. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Beef because he's really good at what he does, which is unfortunate because to me that would be discouraging to even keep doing shit. But yeah, Like there were some people who were accusing him of like creating stuff beforehand to like use in competitions, but in his case he he creates assets beforehand, which isn't necessarily against the rules. It's just we don't want you creating level like full on like already made levels and then submitting those as a competition, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like if you somewhere down the line say you want to, I don't know, make a train heist entry for some reason, right? And you want to use this like specialized train model, like fucking make it now. Like that's like you can make that now, and that's not gonna hurt you because you're not making a level. You're just like you're using an asset. They're like, oh, I could use this at some point in the future. If like we don't want you bringing in like full on or far along pieces of geometry in order to create your entry, because that's unfair to everybody else that's entering. In all in all, these are like level design, for the most part, level design competitions, game design competitions. Yeah, Vertigo, that's what I thought it was. I knew it was the Back on Track, I just couldn't remember which one it was. Yeah, complaints about him are very old news. Funniest part, he managed to win a spot while being bonus, but that was quickly fixed. It must have been before I was running things, because I don't remember that. It's actually solved by stuff like cosplay contests by having skill categories. People are separated categories based on how many years they worked on the skill. But the issue is they're only viable when there's a ton of participants. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we like what, Halloween Horror had 21 entries, right? And then the one before that was, yes, the actual one before that was Wrap Up. Yeah, Wrap Up had 9 entries, right? So we can't like, I've been on Discord for a while, so I don't see the server, but yeah, I submit bonus maps so I don't win, and I like the extra time, and I don't need any more, I don't need to win any more comps. I just like, right, that's not, yeah, perfect. There's the, speaking from the man himself. That's like, I'm sure I'm sure as much as Beef would like the recognition and praise for winning in competitions, I guess it's a good gesture to like, I'm gonna submit as a bonus and don't like give somebody else a spotlight, I guess, because I mean, Beef, you kill at what you do. It's really good. For layout, I was pushed out of 3rd place, but then put back. Yeah, that was way before my time, so I let's see. So this next section here is like a lot about all the competitions. That was basically it for the community part. In general, a lot of people said that they didn't actually. Before we go into specific competitions, let's talk about the competitions as a whole. A lot of people, as I assumed, said the competition length should be exactly as they are, usually between They have been. It's usually between like 2 and 4 weeks. Do you plan on making announcements on the Lambda Generation site? I could. I was thinking about it. I don't think we had an official account over there. I do have my account that I posted, I think, when we did the Counter-Strike, like, jam. I posted over there, so I could look at that. Let me write down some notes. So, Lambda Gen posting. One more thing I wanted to ask, would it be possible to maybe host a comp where only new mappers could join? Again, that would rely on us having enough people to do that, and also, like, why are we arbitrarily limiting people who can join? Like, I don't, like, new mappers can join any competition they want, and I think making a competition solely for you have to be a new mapper to enter this, is like a questionable choice. Like there's nothing stopping any new mappers from joining any of the old competitions, or any competition I should say. I'd like to be given the excuse to make something. Wasn't aware that people were upset by it though. Didn't intend that. No, it's a very, I want to specify this. It is a very small group of people who complain. It's not like it's half the server or anything like that. It's definitely people who I don't think realize, like, yeah, it's jealousy. They are jealous by your skill, and they cannot fathom the fact that somebody can do the work that you do in the amount of time given and pull it off well. I honestly would not give much. I wouldn't like think on it too much. It's a small amount of people that I think are just extremely jealous. That's all it is. Yeah, that's splendid. That's exactly when I started Map Labs. When I joined Map Labs, this was right after the grid, and from that point on, it was like, you know what? These are fun. This gives me an excuse to learn Hammer, to make maps for Half-Life, because I wanted to do that, and I didn't have any direction on what I wanted to do, and this kind of helped me. And I was never in it for the being competitive. Like, I only won, I think, 2 competitions out of my 7 entries, and I didn't care because I was just more worried about improving. And I think being super competitive about something that doesn't have a cash prize, or like it's not a life, or I've said this before, it's not a life or death situation. If you lose, we're not going to send the hitman to your house. Once you get those bragging rights, yeah, it doesn't matter much, but until you do, it's that feeling of accomplishment you want to achieve, some way to prove yourself, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I understand being like, yeah, like, I did this, like, it's good, people like this, but I think getting too in your head about it being competitive is not healthy. Normalize making fun shit, weird maps you had, rather than making shit trying to win the blockbuster title. Exactly. Yeah, Atoms were basically like super quick, like I think like Blade was the first Atom. It was just make a map using the saw blade. Like, it's super broad, but it has one hard requirement, right? I'll get to Atoms in a second because I'm very surprised in the responses for this. But yeah, that's how we got Untilted, and some people really liked it, even if divisive. Won a grand total of 0 competitions. Well, keep making stuff. You never know. You never know. Shit, weird maps made for fun. Yeah, that's basically Atoms. I mean, it doesn't apply to everyone, but it did for me. It's not great, but it happens. My 3 Rooms map 2, that was fun to make, and I didn't expect it to do well. Good RNG roll on judges. Yeah. pretty open about making assets before comps start, but yeah, don't feel the need to prove anything or brag about anything, but it's still a shame that people think that way, Mammy. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's not a I imagine it's not a good feeling, but you have not done anything wrong, so it's just, and at the root of it, it's just jealousy. Okay. Moving on to the competition questionnaire. Again, I was just saying, competitions in general, people are saying they should be as a fine length as they were. Some people want longer comps, but I don't know if I have the mental energy to worry about that. In terms of seeing standard map labs competitions return, of course, overwhelmingly people agreed that like numbered competitions should return. Test tubes should return, and the Atoms was pretty split between I want Atoms to come back and I don't want Atoms to come back. There were some people who put neutral. I think Atoms would be great to do super simple, like one word type jams and stuff like that. Like just like I would probably bump them up to what, 7, like I don't remember exactly how long I remember exactly how long Atoms were before. I want to say 48 or 72 hours, but I'd probably stick them at 72 hours and keep them there if I were to bring them back. I'm considering bringing them back because a lot of people ask for it, but the survey made me think otherwise. Are the Atoms returning? I love playing them. Yep, I'll consider it. I'll consider it. The year-long Map Labs comp. You never know. What if we'll do a really long one? We'll call it the, I don't know. We'll call it something, and it'll be from January to December, and you gotta make something that way. Gotta make a whole Half-Life campaign in a year. It would be cool. Be pretty cool to have more CS assets in the Map Labs map-based template. Yeah, it would be cool. I really was trying to bug. I'll go over this when I get to that section, but I was trying to bug Blix about getting Dave Defeat stuff in there for a long time because I wanted to make a Dave Defeat themed entry for Eye Candy 2, and I was trying to port it over all myself, and I could not fucking figure it out. So, yeah, I'd like to see more assets to use on the template, but it needs to be realistic, and I'll get to that when we get to that section. Map Labs Pro Studio, we're doing commercial product altogether. Yeah, remember how that turned out last time I tried recruiting everybody for a studio game? Yeah, it's still not out, by the way. I thought it was funny that I happened to come in at the exact moment I was being talked about. Shame I didn't see the survey, but I'll drop out of the stream and see what's being said. Okay, dropping it out. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, Beef. I mean, if you have anything, like pieces of feedback you want to tell me directly, feel free to DM me. I mean, my DMs are always open. That goes for anybody. If you want to send me a message or anything, you can feel free to DM me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. AMS, first AMS are 24 hours. I think the longest is now 3 days. AMS are fun for those who have the sort of time dedication, but I'm definitely not one of those people. Bros Bloody Mary said Beef 3 times too quickly. Let's make an entire campaign. Backburner, that's a good name. As a player, I don't like Atoms, but as a mapper, they can be a great catalyst. Yeah, I get it, because people, I will say this, people hated Emoji. Emoji was probably one of the That was something I got on this survey that people did not like, was emoji, and that was in terms of mapping and playing it. I can definitely see it being useful in certain cases and not useful in others. I would just stick them as like a mapping exercise rather than like, yes, you should be thinking about the player, but also it's a good way to flex your creative muscles. The only item I tried to enter was hell of not being able to finish my side before the deadline clock hit. I couldn't pull more time overnight. Yeah. Gonna live 12 months off of social security money to make a cool Map Labs entry. Yeah. Quit my job to make Half-Life maps devlog. Be like, yeah, that's gonna be the first Map Labs YouTube video. Some sort of refresh for atoms being dice, perhaps some change in the formula, but keeping the 3-day length. And CSS some overlapping named assets. I was more thinking in terms of like the guns and the character models. Somehow we can slap those onto some NPCs that would be useful. I don't want to have to worry about bloating the Map Labs template in terms of assets, though. I will say, given these last 3 competitions, there have been a lot of people who've been using the same assets. So I might see if I can pull the server and see like, hey guys, what assets in terms of models and materials would you like to like that you commonly use that you want to see in the template? Because there was a lot of people using the same assets, like the CSS furniture. Like that could probably be something we can put into the template. That way it'll stop people from submitting it, and I'll have to worry about going through and manually removing it all, because manually removing conflicting assets is definitely a time-consuming process. Valve following the same naming conventions can be a pain sometimes. It breaks some stuff in TF2, Gmod ready. My face when we finally get another Left 4 Dead 2 comp as emoji 2. Yeah, I was thinking about doing another Left 4 Dead competition. Either probably something along pretty, I would say, easy, quote unquote, but I don't know if Left 4 Dead 2 is entirely that easier. But I do think it'd be cool to do like a versus, like a survival/versus competition. And I say that because I think that game mode is interchangeable. You can play it just with 4 players co-op, or you can play it the 8 players versus. Don't remember what I wrote about it, but I was so done the instant I saw it. We need Portal Abridged comp. Okay, so another thing, people do not like Portal competitions either. They did not they were not a fan of those. I mean, if people really want to do them, we can try one more, but that would probably be like the litmus test to see like, do people want to keep doing these? Because if not, it's not worth the energy to keep creating competitions for a game that people don't want to play. For the most part, people were telling me to like stick to Half-Life and Garry's Mod. Like they're not at all interested in expanding outside of that. With the exception of Left 4 Dead, people were saying they want another Left 4 Dead comp. So in my head right now, I'm thinking of just sticking with Half-Life, Garry's Mod to do the occasional Garry's Mod, like Prop Hunt or whatever, like, you know, those game modes, or we'll do Left 4 Dead 2. There was talks with doing an Entropy Zero comp. OneUp has been reaching out to me for forever to trying to do a collaboration, and I am all aboard for it, but we have not really discussed much past that. So hopefully next year we can get Entropy 02 workshop comp going. I make Half-Life 3 Adam and one on day 1. Yeah. Thought doing level design was too hard for me, but then I scored really good points. Now I'm thinking maybe I could try puzzle design too. Can't be that hard, right? Other games are better when comps don't have 3 months in between them. Yeah. 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 CS source skyboxes. Yeah, we need more skyboxes. Okay, we'll continue this survey real quick. Would you be interested would you be interested in a competition that is judged by the community rather than a panel of dedicated judges? This is a 73% yes. I think I clarified this after the fact, but this question wasn't me saying we're getting rid of dedicated judges. This is, would you be interested if a competition was going to have a community judging just like the wrap-up? Not really sure how like exactly what would be the criteria for let's do this over a panel of judges, but this is me just saying, are you interested in this? Wasn't the Portal 2 comp successful? There was 3 Portal 2 comps, and the only one, let me go down to that real quick. There was Chroma, which was like use a color for, where is it? There was Chroma, Seen Better Days, and Test Loop. I think Test Loop was the one that had 1 entry, and then Chroma was the second most entries, and then Seen Better Days was the most, and Seen Better Days was the better one because people like eye candy competitions, and that was basically an eye candy competition. I'm a bit iffy about votes because they have a lot of issues. Well, what issues are you concerned about? Does that just imply wrap up 4 or new? I don't know if I understand the question. I'm iffy too, but when I really think about if I'm iffy on dedicated judges too, so I don't see why not, with other ups and downs. Community voting would be fine for something like Nostalgiaville 2, perhaps, aka a very vanilla comp. I guess, yeah. I mean, again, like, this isn't saying we're going to do this. This is just me saying, are you interested if I do this? I would say a big upside of having community voting rather than a dedicated panel of judging is that I could set a hard deadline on community voting and get scores very fast, whereas with having a panel of judges, I could set a deadline on judges as well, but the judges want to actually come up with the reviews and write their scores and all that kind of stuff, and that takes a little bit longer than just saying I like this entry over this one. No, so like I said, that question is just me asking if you would like a competition that utilizes community votes instead of a panel of judges. I'll say this right now: the 2 guarantees for Map Labs, as long as I'm running it, is there's always going to be a wrap up and there's always going to be a Halloween horror. I can tell you those are the guarantees. When they're going to happen, I don't know. everyone really likes Halloween Horror, and Wrap Up is just a good way for people to utilize unfinished entries in, and if like they can finish those up and submit those. I think the Wrap Up is the only really way where that rule about using pre-made maps kind of like skirts the line of being okay, because that's the intention. Yeah, Halloween rules. Halloween is cool. Yeah. It's YouTube is giving you XP. What the hell? I don't know. I have no idea why that's happening. Yeah. I wonder if it's related to the I wonder if it's related to like the top fans thing. Because I have nothing on my end about XP or anything. Like I've got, oh, it is, yeah, okay, it's the top fans. So you need more than 75 XP to become my new top fan. If okay, what? Sure. Some common ones that I see a lot, especially in game jams, it becomes popularity contests. If users are not careful, community bias. We already went over Beatbake and having some unfair criticism, whereas you'd hope the judges are judging them based on set parameters, what people will generally vote on, visuals first, etc. I usually see community votes when there's too many participants to reasonably judge, but other than that, having tailored judging is usually more balanced for comps. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that, like, people obviously inherently are biased on certain things. I like to think that I'm pretty good at setting my bias aside, which is why I'm a little bit more active than previous staff have been inside the dev channels, like helping people through certain things. While I'm not directly helping you make an entry and making sure your shit is working, because I'd rather you submit in a finished working entry when the competition comes out, instead of discovering after the fact. But we discussed those aren't super competitive, so things like that doesn't matter much. I mean, it's still a valid concern. I always try to play / judge maps without knowing the author, if at all possible, but that becomes harder as the comps go on. Yeah, so I obviously, like, I'm in a different boat because I put everything together and I have to type everybody's name associated with everybody's competition and all that kind of stuff. But that's mainly the reason why is I do not play the comps. Like, I will not, during the dev period, I do not play any of the entries. The only thing I do is I boot it up, and if I get any immediate issues at the beginning, I'll let them know, but I'm just booting up to make sure it doesn't crash and also generate the nav mesh, because people are still submitting competition or their entries without nav meshes, so I have to manually do it. To be fair, that's not a requirement, but it just makes it my life easier. That's something I talked about on the forum. I think judges are better at not being biased to unfair reasons, but they're not immune to it. It happens rarely, but it's not fun. I try not to be, but I do notice myself judging entries from people I know, maps I playtested, or just maps later in the comp harsher. I don't see that bias until later. It's hard to avoid. I get it. It's probably, like, best for that kind of situation to, like, take breaks and stuff. Like, I think like I said, I think I'm pretty good about fairly judging everything. Which is why I can go through and do these, like, 4 or 5 hour long streams of playing the competitions without really impacting my judging. Like, I understand there's like I'll probably get worn out just because I'm sitting here for 5 hours playing who knows how many entries, but I think I do a pretty good job at still avoiding bias. I've noticed you're one of the more active people I've seen in the community like this, which I think is very nice to see. You'd be surprised how many people in comps are just a brick wall for jams. Yeah, I get it. Note, add nav file rules to your... Yeah. Also, I'll probably do that. People are also submitting, still not submitting VMFs, which is not necessarily a requirement, but again, I think it's nice to... Is it a requirement? I can't actually remember now. It's been like so long. I'm like autopiloting all these things now. Yeah, but be sure to include BSP and VFF. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. Hello, Cvox. Yeah, this is why judging takes long. I take breaks and don't play them all together. Perfectly valid. Like that's why Vigil has been DMing me saying sorry, like I'm sorry it's taken so long that it's taking me to judge. I'm like, dude, like I'm not trying to rush you to judge, because if I'm rushing you to judge, you're not gonna give me like good feedback, or you're not gonna give me a good score, and you're not gonna give people good feedback. I'd rather you take extra time to make sure you're gonna judge things properly instead of just rushing through and getting it all done just to get it done. People submit entries without nav files. How? I don't know. People, I'm assuming it's because it's in the graphs folder and it's just kind of like an out of sight, out of mind thing. If I was appointed a judge, I'd be more careful for sure, but as a player just dumping in reviews, it's only apparent on a week, return after a week later. Once had a map break when I included the nav file, so now I'm scared to include it ever again. Yeah, it is in the rules, it's just off to the side. Well, at least it's not like that one map in Toon where the map itself wasn't included. Wait, what? What? I don't remember that. Again, so that was also before I was even on staff, so I don't know how that went behind the scenes, but that EMFs started being required when the Steam build was still a thing. Yeah. All right. I think it's time to tear off the bandage on that, because it's coming up kind of frequently, and I don't want to leave people guessing whether or not the Steam build is going to happen. I'm going to say it's like a 99% certainty the Steam build is not happening. I have again, this goes back to me having no access to any of the accounts. Toki was the one, as far as I remember, that was the one that was building the Steam build. Toki is no longer in Map Labs. Toki left a long time ago, and that's when Wayland stepped down. Wayland and Seif are also no longer in Map Labs. They didn't say why, but I'm assuming they have just decided to move on to do better things. As a consequence of that, I again have no access to anything on the Steam build, but I also do not have the time commitment to do that. On doing this on top of my full-time job, and then on top of running all these competitions, I do not have the time to come up with to like develop the Steam build, and that's going to be something that's constantly evolving anyways as we continue to do competitions. So the Steam build is probably not happening, because I'd have to buy another I'd have to buy another Steam ID or a Steam app ID, so that now it becomes a monetary investment, which it would be nice to have it all on Steam, but it is just too much work for me to do to get it back, to get everything back on there. Yeah, Seif was working on it. Yeah, I mean, there was a few people that were working on the trailer and stuff, and yeah, unfortunately all of that is timeout is. Yeah. So I say this because it's gonna lead into a few things. First of all, I see Sevox is already Sevox and Splendid Dog already talking about it. I personally am never against the concept of a beta comp. I know people are like, beta, but I don't think it's really that big of an issue. Like, it's an interesting thing to think about what could have been. It's so that was kind of my like testing the waters with Fractured Space, was like, oh, it's Half-Life alternate timeline, do whatever you want in the Half-Life universe. And I'm surprised nobody actually did a beta inspired competition, but beta is not off the table. That is something I'm considering. Some days I just wish there was more hours in a day, because if other things won't get in the way, time will. Hey man, if there's more hours in the day, it's more hours for my employer to get out of me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, entering comps is one thing. I'm amazed everyone has time to manage map labs or be a mod or whatever. I somehow do it. The cost of my mental fortitude. Love to judge sometime. I try to be pretty objective on one thing, so I have going out for me. At least one knows. Map Labs on the Epic Games Store announcement. Map Labs on Google Play. Hell yeah. You guys figured it out. That was the secret. The Sound of Silence. Sound of Silence was a troll map that got submitted. That's why there was no map in there. That was intentional. Yeah, Phoenix's map for Fractured Space is pretty much Half-Life Alpha. Even the test chamber is recreated so close that although it's in a different game of the series, Alt-Life. Yeah, that was a really good one. Generally uninterested in beta stuff, though I really like some of the Wasteland concept art and would love making something based on that. Yeah, that's I would say a Fractured Space 2 or like a sequel to that is not off the table either, so that would be a good opportunity to try and do some more non-canon Half-Life stuff. Alternate timeline and all that kind of shit, but we can figure that out once it gets planned. Let's see. Okay, that was my second thing. So, I would like one of the competitions that actually was one of the competitions that a lot of people did like, that people want a sequel to, is Tune. I want to do a Tune sequel, and given the fact I'm gonna be very careful about how I say this, because I don't want this to be interpreted as, yes, go ahead and do this, but given the fact we are no longer gonna have a Steam build, that means theoretically, I don't know how it works on ModDB, but theoretically we don't have to be too much more careful with copyrighted content. But that being said, the idea of Tune shouldn't be about, oh, just put music in your entry and just put music in your entry and have some normal gameplay or whatever. Like, it should be like, the idea of Tune is to be inspired by music you listen to and like do something that that music inspires you about. But I don't know how that copyright stuff is going to work. That's something I'll probably have to talk with everybody about. And see what we'll want to do. Like I said, I'm not really sure how ModDB handles copyright stuff, and I would rather not people still not submit copywritten work. But that might be a possibility where people can like start using it a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to think on that. But I do want to do a tune. Sound of Silence is important as the lowest ever scored entry at 0.42 out of 100. Yes, it is. It is. That means whatever you do, you're guaranteed to get a better score, or to beat the anti-record, which is itself in a win, kind of. How did I gotta pull up? Let me pull up the fucking the score sheet for that. That was tune 1, right? I gotta see what the scores were for that. I can finally make a playable in the end. Hell yeah. Tune. Where is tune? Tune, here we go. Sound of Silence, where is it? Here we go. Someone who's the one holdout. Okay, out of 4 judges, it got 0s across the board except for 5 points in the uniqueness category. So it gave the total it gave that entry a 1.25 in the uniqueness category average, with an average total of 0.416. You know, I gotta applaud the I do have to applaud it though. It's now that I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, in the moment I'd probably piss and be like, what the hell is this? But oh man, that's great. MapLab streamers just screamed in the background. Precisely why I never vibe with Tomb Comps. Don't know the music. That one tune app with the Meet the Demoman song was brilliant. The gnome sound effect can finally be added. Tune was great, but Tune 2 demanded only non-video game music, which I think worked against it. The numbers agree. Yes, a lot of people, that was one of the complaints, is like, oh, I can't use video game music. Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. Like a weird rule to put in there. I think if I was to do a Tune 3, it would just go back to any music. Competition to make the worst Map Labs entry ever. Isn't that Cromulantville? Or Cromulent, or whatever it is. Trash Labs. That's a good Adam. Trash Labs. All right, moving on. Let's see. Some say it's Cromwell, others say it's Cromwellville did not have the worst map. No. I think you misinterpreted what I meant, but okay. I still have no idea what I think Cromulent is still one of the only map labs I have not played. So as far as I know, it's fucking like entries that are supposed to be just bizarre. Yeah, I have no idea what Cromulent was supposed to be. Get Timu Map Labs before Half-Life 3. I just got Coca and almost choked on it. Well, don't choke on your Coca. I like having to choose only non-video game music though. Makes you discover new... I mean, you could still just do that. You can still just not choose video game music. Phil not being able to properly define Cromulent beyond vibes didn't help. I still don't know what Cromulent means. I thought it was a pastry at first. Well, I don't think Cromulent is a real word, which... Oh, it is. Acceptable or adequate? Sure. To me, cromulent means I know where it's from, something cozy and wholesome. So I wouldn't be against making a silly comedic map. I'm not against cromulent 3 personally. See, I would be happy to give the people what they want, but I have no idea what cromulent is, and I don't like. I need education. I need people to educate me. Like, what is the context? But cromulent is a meta board from Simpsons. Is it like a Simpsons thing? I have no idea. Half-Life 1 Honor Railville, where you have to make a map based on Half-Life's second best chapter after Zen. Your entire entry must take place on a rail, and I don't mean that like on the chapter. That was a unfortunate pun. Correct, my dog. A correct take indeed. The made-up word. Okay, so it's just a made-up word that means this is fine. I'll have to figure out what the context of that in a competition format was supposed to be, but the Cromulent 3 is something that people really want. I just didn't know what the point of the competition was. Combine base build 2. All right, bonus period should remain a part of the submission cycle. Overwhelmingly 94% yes. Yes, that's a perfectly cromulent definition, Red. Sweet. I figured it out, I guess. That's a fine, it's a cromulent competition. Holy shit, did it just click in my head? I got it. I feel so smart now. Competition idea. Judges choose a random Half-Life 2 map, and all entries have to remake it. That would... I was about to say that'd get boring very fast, but we got almost like, what, 40 entries for Crossfire? Zenville, but it's another Half-Life Alex comp where you have to make a Zen invested plays. I really want to get Zen props. I wonder how difficult it would be to, like, backport them from Alex to Source, because those props are awesome, and I really want to do a Zen comp. Generally don't remember what Cromulentville was anymore. I just don't recall it being wacky. This opens the door to Deauville. The real idea is that it's hard to define. Gotcha. I don't know what Cromulent meant either. I'm just told my Cromulentville map resulted in a rule change. Do you happen to know what that rule change was? I'm glad people voted for bonus period. I read some takes that it should be removed. Obviously very uncromulent takes. Clearly need to make an asset comp first where people make Alex inspired Zen assets for Half-Life 2 and then use those assets for... Yeah, of course. Abridged and Forper already kind of redesigned a Half-Life 2 map. Yeah. Why not do a Zen comp in Black Mesa? I think we could. I guess Black Mesa has a workshop. They have workshop support, right? I just don't know. I don't know anything about that process, so I don't want to just kind of blindly go into that. Black Mesa does have a workshop. I mean, that's a possibility. Let me write that down. Black Mesa Zen comp. Let's see. Was it the crashing by design? Well, no, I don't remember what the rule was. I have to go back. I should play Cromulent too, I guess. Figure it out. I understand Black Mesa is more difficult to map for, higher detail expected. I guess theoretically, yeah. But yeah, if like the average person playing Black Mesa is booting that up and is like expecting a Black Mesa quality map, sure, but I don't expect Valve level quality maps in my Map Labs competitions. It also runs worse on PCs than Half-Life 2 because of the extra stuff. Yeah, well, MapLabs had a Half-Life Alyx ROM anyways, where a lot more detail was expected. I would just recommend talking to mappers who have done. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not just gonna let's throw that up there and be like, let's go for it. Yeah, for bonus periods, I honestly, for the longest time, thought we should just get rid of bonus periods because I don't know, just like absorb them into the standard competition length. But a lot of people want to keep bonus periods, so I guess we'll keep them. And a lot of people have said they want the bonus periods to be the same length as they were, so we're keeping them at 4 days. People have spoken. That's bonus periods are going to stay for 4 days. I don't have BMS. Can make a BM abridged, like in before. Maybe it'll be even better. Keep the bonus period, but make them 30 seconds long so I can submit it as a bonus. Yeah, we're going to keep bonus periods. People want them. Any content you like to see added to the Map Lab space? Yeah, who's the sick individual who put thirst traps featuring staff? I'm looking right at you. I can see you. I'm looking right at you. I know exactly who you are, by the way. Anyways, a lot of people took this as an opportunity just to throw shit in here. This was not like I don't want to just take people's stuff and throw it in there and be like, yeah, we're using this now. This was more of like, what can we add? It's like we added the Hound Eye and we added the Counter-Strike stuff. Like, what can we add? And this is us talking about the Dave Defeat source stuff. Like, I want to throw you didn't have to out him like that, Don. This is more of like, what kind of simple stuff could we add like to use to add to fuck. I'm trying. Okay. Yeah, so like Dave Defeat shit. Custom loading screens for entries was something that was suggested, but I don't know. Is that possible? Like using the Dota 2 Hound Eye model is a bit odd. A new model for that is consistent with Half-Life 2 Resurrection would be neat. That just require, I guess someone's gonna make that. More NPCs for open source mods like Dark Interval, R2BR, etc. Open source stuff is something cool. But again, I don't want to bloat the template more than I have to. Vampiro Inflation, but Pyrocynical Incident mod has to be added to MapLab's template. I can't believe you made me read those words. Some SDK entities should be compiled into the template, like the extra NPCs with basic models, the Fizzgun, the GG model, etc. I think it makes total sense. It's already fully legal. You might have to like explain what you mean a little bit more on that, because I'm not exactly sure. Add thing. Oh, must be yours. Add some things from the SDK, like the Fizzgun Bull Squids with the Half-Life 1 model, ability to override models, and parameters for all NPCs, not just zombies. Maybe some entities from agreed map-based mods. Yeah, I mean, if you fuckers. Yeah, if like you could explain a little bit more on by extra NPCs, I mean like the Bull Squid, it's 2003 code in the source SDK. It could just use the Half-Life 1 model, which people can either leave or replace with a custom one. I gotcha. I do intend to submit that common helicopter to other things at some point. I'm sure I've got props that could make use of. Don't know when I'll get around to that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Just let me know. Pyrocynical collab? Hell yeah, dude. So guys, 250. What is it? What's this fucking bridge video? Dude. I hate these things I'm hearing. I hate the things I'm saying. Why did I read fully legal and my mind immediately went to fully modeled? You know why. Cinematic Map Labs mod. It's possible to maybe add Bull Squid. Yeah, the thing is with that is like I have no technical skills on that side of source, so I would need somebody to like help me implement that. That's something I could think about. I need to go brush my Legos. Okay. Alright, have fun with that. Yeah, I mean I got a couple responses in there, not for the content and the map lab space, but I can look at that and see what we gotta do. Yeah, Blix is probably the one that could be the one to do that. All right, here we go. Here's everyone's favorite part. Any competition theme suggestions? We got a lot of people saying they wanted like just very broad, like a general autumn theme, like a summer theme, just some simple stuff, which would probably be better for like a test tube or something. A good one that I kind of liked that would probably be good for a like another chest tube is something that's similar to Crossoverville, but this one is more about like movies, like you know, like kind of like recreate a movie in like as an entry type of thing, and like or like use like make a entry inspired by a movie. A lot of people are like just suggesting doing like classic RTSL stuff, like you know, Combine Baseville and all that kind of stuff, which could be good. More people want like location and environment based ones, like the Map Labs episode 1. I was thinking about a good one would be like a Ravenholm one, like you can make your own like little Ravenholm inspired thing, or bring map base into each comp mod update. Yeah, I don't that's something I was looking at. I gotta like work on that some more and figure out how to do that. Fusionville 3. Fusionville is something that people wanted. TF2 seasonal no, we're not doing TF2 again. Making Die Hard and Half-Life life hard. It is, isn't it? Movieville was a thing. Is it a thing? I didn't know that. So was Ravenholmville. Well, Hey, listen, when you've not been in the mapping in the source community as little as I have, you kind of miss those things. If it was an RTSL comp, I probably don't know it exists. There's like 3 or 4 comps that I know. What is what dated? I'm assuming it's November is when episode 1 came out. Episode 1, June 1st. Okay. Blockout comp couldn't hurt. Something with minimalistic with a focus on design over art. Attack defend could be nice too. Pretty simple, straightforward. Maybe something with people focus. Citadelville. So we have 2 vehicles. Yeah. Layout 2, blockout 2 would be nice. I'd like a fill provided template kind of comp. Yeah, so that's something I want to do as well. Like, I want to do a sequel to Crossfire or a layout. That is something, that I was considering, but the problem I have with that is I would probably need to get help. I would need some people from the community to help me, because there's no way I can come up with, like, if we're gonna do layout had what, like 12 different layouts to choose from or something like that. You have to like prepare all that. Like, that's a lot of work for me to do. I would need like people to help me do that. Which that'll lead into something I want to talk about in a second, but yeah, it is not your work, which is why you're happy suggesting it. Yeah, Beef's got a point too. Like I was mentioning earlier with like the whole heist thing, and you want to like a train. Like a train is a vehicle, you can make that work. Yeah. Someone said Cromulent 3, I beg you, it's been 5 years. I need my Cromulent sauce. I hear you. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. Annual wrap-ups. Annual wrap-ups are always going to be a thing. I mean, we've only had 4, but... Oh, I guess I should say specifically the keyword, I guess, was annual wrap-ups. Annual. Wrap-ups are always going to be a thing. I don't know if doing it every year... I mean, that would honestly take one more comp off my plate, but... Clearly you need to provide a plug-out for every base Half-Life 2 map, obviously. I don't know, maybe we could just reuse... Maybe we could just reuse layouts from the previous competition, but I don't know if I want to really do that. That seems kind of boring and cheating on my part. Yeah, but wrap-ups, I don't know if every year, maybe every other year, but I'll think about that. Wrap-ups will be some wrap-ups are something I want to keep doing, because I think wrap-ups just help people submit finished stuff that they couldn't before. Want to do layout all-stars with some layouts from mods, past comps. It's going to be a bitch to find layouts. Yep, again, that goes back to me trying to do that. Back on track layout edition. Yeah, maybe a comp or entrance to create a more or less cohesive campaign a la the whole Half-Life. That is something that I want to do, but the problem with that is it just comes down to like, we're gambling with the entries we're gonna get. The key is to identify iconic maps for layout, though. Exactly. ImSim comp is definitely something I want to try and figure out the logistics behind. Because that sounds like could be a cool idea. Probably be like a shorter comp too, just to you know, just let people have fun with. Crossfire 2. Yeah, just reuse the Crossfire layout and just get more Crossfires, get 50 more Crossfires. Crossfire 2 Double Cross. Is that's a map, isn't it? Double Cross is a... Oh, it's from it's from TF2, that's why. Can't have Crossfire 2. We're waiting for scores from... Yeah, as soon as somebody can get me in contact with Dario, we'll get right on that. You don't have the luxury of having a hammer map to base the block out of. Double Cross. Yeah, Double Cross was it's a TF2 map, I think. Yeah, I don't remember what was in layout. Let's see. Layout had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we had Double Cross, Nucleus, Overpass, Avalanche, Train, Dust 1, Underpass, Stockyard, Mountain Lab, Sugarcane, and Gasworks. Jabroni Brawl has a Crossfire edit where the entire map is mirrored vertically. T-Fort should be next. T-Fort could be good. Double Cross is Half-Life 1. Oh, maybe there's 2 Double Cross maps then. Oh, this one is... Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah, Double Cross. Yeah. I just looked up Double Cross map and TF2 was coming up. We don't do a TF2 comp, we do a TF1 comp. Hell yeah. T-Fort comp. Yeah, maybe that could be the layout or the Crossfire sequel. T-Fort comp. Let's see. Someone gave me a shitload of suggestions for themes, but a lot of these would be like Atom types, I think. Ricochet comp, hell yeah. I mean, I could literally just, I'm sure I could find the layout of E1M1 somewhere and just have people make something for that. That could also be a good one. I'm gonna start writing these down. E1M1. Gold Source is something that I was thinking about doing, but I don't know how people, like, I don't know how many people are familiar with doing Gold Source. If I was to do Gold Source, it would probably be like a really simple, just like a broad theme, just so that people can just do something and figure it out. Like I would like to try Gold Source, but that'd be something I'd have to like look into a little bit. I could probably talk with Don about it, because I know Don is a little bit more familiar with Half-Life 1 than I am. On the results you're reading, are the submitted answers unnamed? Yeah, I mean, I could probably like figure out who submitted what if they put their Discord ID at the end, but I'm just looking at like summaries right now, so I don't have the names attached with it. I think it's kind of funny, just in my mind, that Gold Source comps belong to the whole Half-Life, although of course they do Source comps too. I like the idea of making a Gold Source map, but I bet I'd hate it as soon as I started. A smaller one to ease people in would be best bet. Yeah. I've only once in my life used Gold Source Hammer. Yep. Gold Source will torment mappers with its lack of IO or parenting. Yep. To be fair, Gold Source has Jack, so you kind of don't need Gold Source Hammer nowadays. Yeah. If I was to do that, I would definitely link like Jack or whatever the other like editor alternatives are. Well, while I'm still on the topic of it, does anybody have any other like map layout suggestions for a Crossfire / layout comp sequel? Trench Room is good. Trench Room would be a good alternative. Yeah. That's what I was trying to think of. Gold Source has higher unique limit than Half-Life 2. Yeah. Office or assault. Let me see, does this... Those, yeah, those are not on the layout, so I could probably add those. CS, office. CS, assault. Dust Bowl. C1A0, I don't, that's, what is, which, I don't know what level that is in. Upward or high tower? Maybe the layout did well because you were turning MP maps into MP single player, so it felt experimental. Just reusing single player maps feels like dressing them up. Yeah. I think the that's what I said. I think the only exception would be like E1M1. It's just iconic, and I know everybody kind of recreates it. It's like the Dust 2 of Doom. All those materials. Okay. I got 2-4 E1M1 Crossfire again. Office, Assault, Dust Bowl, C1A0, Upward, High Tower. Probably think some more. In the meantime, let's just move on to the next thing. So we got, let's see. Anzio. Dust 2. Yeah, so I'll just read off a couple of these ones because these ones, this big list is pretty decent. Non-linear level design, that would kind of go hand in hand with like an MSim comp, because I think an MSim comp would do the open world, or not quote-unquote open world, non-linear level design pretty well. It's just the thought of trying to make that functional inside Half-Life 2, because like if you want to try and make stealth, it's not very good. I tried doing a stealth section in a entry, and it was a very big hack job. Another contest like Crossfire. Yep, we're just talking about that. A simulation of a job. A weird idea, but maps where a player does a specific job, like being a chef, an engineer, a dancer, a crane operator, or a surgeon. I know this sounds weird, but I'd be fascinated to see what people would make. Why not? The first map of Interlopers, C481, I think people often say it sucks, can make it better. Non-linear map? Yeah, a non-linear would be a pretty big thing to try and do. And so it would be extremely cool. That would be, I think we'd maybe need a set of view scripts for everyone to use, because yeah, stealth is tricky. Yeah, stealth not necessarily being a requirement of MSim. But that would, obviously, I think people automatically equate MSims with being like having the ability to be stealth. Okay, so I'll see you later, Splendid. Thank you for sticking around. Yeah, you can stick that in your job sim. Do the map equivalent of training video on how to open a door. Like for that papers, please. Map like shoes, Citadel meltdown or something. Yeah, that was amazing. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'll have to look at that. I don't. Do you remember what competition that's from? Because that does sound interesting. A lot of people do want to do a competition similar to Tower. That could be something we can try and figure out. You just need to provide like a start and an end, and you just build your map around that. Two rooms. Okay. Fusionville 2. Bring back Escape, Deception, Vertigo, Ascent, etc. Nice broad themes. Maps that use vehicles in an interesting way. Bonus points for creating a vehicle rather than just using a vehicle entity. We were kind of talking about that. More Gmod, Trouble in Terrace Town, Prop Hunt, etc. That would probably be like an off. Like I'd probably do it as like a once in a while thing. Alien Swarm, but I don't know how many people are actually interested in Alien Swarm, and I don't know if I'm too comfortable drifting away from Half-Life again. A return of 2 billion units. That's an old one, isn't it? More winter and Christmas themes, summer themes. Second person gameplay. Yeah, the unicomps are like the rooms. Yeah. People generally like, moving on to the next question. People generally like sequel competitions. It was like 83% said I like them and 17% said I'm neutral. Nobody said they didn't like them, so we can keep doing sequels, obviously. Everyone loves one room, right? I was promised 4 rooms. I'll get to that. Units might be better than rooms because there's no debate about what a unit is. Trust me, somebody will ask. Any competition format changes you like to see? Bring back seasons. I'm gonna try and do my best. I think that kind of requires me to kind of have a roadmap in mind, and that's kind of why I want to do this, just to get an idea of what people want to see as a competition, and I can get something put together and come up with a roadmap of some kind. People will debate somehow, absolute unit or whatever. Yeah. If community ratings are going to come back, can they please be ranked voting instead? Yep. It's a count if everything is 3 comments or something. Yeah, and here comes the someone was really vocally against Half-Life Alyx competitions, which we have not done one in so long. The only reason why they're in here was just because that's what was run. Trust me, we're not doing that again. The funny thing you should say, I was thinking about 2 billion units was hammer geometry or level geometry, since the thick node draw walls mostly won't exist, so just the thickness count. I absolutely do not understand the whole seasons thing. I don't really either. I think it's just something for people to look forward to, even though it's not part of the playable level. Alright, Lassie, that's, you know what? That's your homework for tonight. Figure that out. You can figure that out for me. Alright, for the most part, people liked Back on Track. It was a good one. People did not like 2 rooms, but they liked 3 rooms. Whatever 1, 2 X rooms happens, people try to be clever about it. Is this corner a room? Is this well a room? Is it 2 rooms if you turn the lights on or off? Yeah. Toon. A lot of people wanted to do Toon. They wanted a sequel to Toon. Fusionville. A lot of people want to do Fusionville. I think now that we have a lot of competitions under our belt, it'd be a pretty interesting. Be pretty interesting to see what people can do with that now. My headset's about to die. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna swap my battery. Quick, say whatever you want. He can't hear you. I go through these real quick and just see the ones I kind of suspected. People just like the general winter themed comps. People liked Abridged, but I don't really know how much more you can do with Abridged. Crossfire, overwhelmingly, yes, do another one. People didn't. I asked if people wanted to see something like Atom Week coming back, and it was kind of like a almost in the middle. It was like a 53% said no. But also that's just because people generally just don't want Atoms to come back, which I get. Atoms would still. I'm still thinking about bringing Atoms back. It would just be, they would be every once in a while, just be something fun. Ascentville. Oh, okay, those are all the vills. Most people don't want sequels to those. Except for Gravity. People wanted a sequel to Gravity. This is people were like, no, we don't do Atoms again. But then people will tell me they want Atoms, but they said no in the survey. So what do you want? You don't know what you want. That's what you want. Elevatorville was a pretty good one that people wanted as well. Emoji theme was a 73% said they would have not entered that if they could. And 77% said they did not want to see a sequel to that. A lot of that text feedback was hold on, let me put under there. A lot of the text feedback was this was not a good theme. Maybe Atoms, since they're so short, could be announced well in advance so people can make the time before the comp and the actual. Yeah, like I think that was always a thing before, was the comps were kind of like, oh, there's gonna be a comp at around this time, but we're not gonna tell you when yet or what the comp is. I haven't really done that. That's something I could do again, but yeah, I'll take that into consideration. Chroma for Portal 2. This is that yeah, the Portal 2 Chroma. You said, wait, I know what I said in my text response, a prediction of what the server emoji's conf will be. Oh yeah, you said and before half of it is Barney but smug. 71% of people did not want to, would have not made a map for Chroma, and they did not want to see a sequel to it. Yeah, no desire to make Portal maps. Would rather have Half-Life 2. Don't have Portal, but I enjoy playing. I don't map for Portal, but I enjoy playing maps. Yeah. That's typically why the atoms should be like a little bit more broad, because they should be a little bit more broad. That way you can kind of it should be a little bit easier to come up with an idea for it. Vague voices vibe from this music. This is another ambient track I just pulled on that is Half-Life inspired ambience. Also use some of the samples which were used in Vague Voices. There you go. I think Chroma's a good theme. Yeah, Chroma could be a good theme just for Half-Life 2, just for a Half-Life comp. Well, the point is to do something spontaneous with not a lot of stakes or quality standards. Atoms are like these bursts of mapping. Yeah. I do Chroma for Half-Life 2 for sure. Yeah. Okay. Chroma. Tune. 53% of the people said they would want to have they would have done Tune if they could, and it was almost like a 80% said yes, let's get a sequel to this. So Tune 3 is probably gonna happen. Don't know. We'll figure it out. People said they just like music, the music stuff. But they just didn't like the fact that there was no video game music allowed. So yeah, I'll link it. Choose a game. Well, the whole Half-Life did synthesis where you could submit for Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Source. Yeah, that's something. I mean, I think I did a competition for the whole Half-Life, which was like some competition about like teleporting or something like that, and you had the option of choosing any Half-Life game. I could see that. It's just might be a little frustrating to like bounce back and forth between the games. It's a good thought, though. People like sequel competitions, and by that I mean like level 2 or boss level, so that's something that people like as well, so we can always do more sequel comps, you know. Don't like doing that for the whole Half-Life comps, to be honest. Yeah, so you could do Chroma, but you don't have to not use Portal 2 if you wanted to redo that. Sure. I'm not sure we'll continue to do that for the whole Half-Life. Yeah. Level 2 / boss level. Sequels all the way. Place in the West. I honestly think that would have been a really cool idea, but just there was not a whole lot of. It didn't seem like there was a lot of people said they were interested in it as a fun idea, but they couldn't get enough inspiration out of it, especially if they didn't buy the other comics. Seen better days. 70% people said no, they did not want to do that. They don't want to see a sequel. Specifically for Portal, they want more eye candy, but not for Portal. Half-Life Eternal. This is almost a 50%. Yes, I would have submitted if I could. And a lot of people want a sequel to this, but with a twist. I have an idea that I want to do. This is something that I've already had planned. I've had a plan for this for a long time. So, Half-Life Eternal will be there'll be a sequel for it in a sense somewhere down the line. Place in the West was kind of cursed because I remember people starting but almost everyone was mysteriously prevented. Yeah, I was planning on making something too. I honestly don't even remember what the idea was now. I think I was gonna do something with the Hound Eye, like, was it like there was like a fighting, like a Hound Eye fighting matches or something like that. I don't remember, something like that. I can't remember. People start making maps. Only one very handsome person actually finished. Nobody knows who they were. It's always a mystery. Layout, overwhelmingly, yes, I would have done that. 92% said they would have done it, and not even so. In would you like to see a sequel to this competition in the future? There was 3 options. It was yes, no, or with a twist. Almost 80% of the people just said yes, give me a sequel, not even with a twist. There was one person who said no, they don't want to see a sequel to Layout. So Layout sounds like it's a good contender for next year. Deceptionville was a really popular one people wanted to do as well. Crossoverville, like, we're getting to the ones that people really like now. So Layout, Deceptionville, Crossoverville, Escapeville, Companion Piece, Eye Candy 2, Fork, Boss Level, like all of these was just yes, give me a sequel, yes, give me a sequel. Yeah, it's we got some good contenders for next year. Yeah, Test Loop, every single response was no, they did not even attempt it. No, they don't want a sequel. 71% said they... Yeah, 71% said they don't want a sequel. Back on Track had a decent... Back on Track Vertigo had a decent amount of people saying they would have done it and they would like to see a sequel again. Okay, here's what we got to 3 rooms. 3 rooms, 1 and 2 rooms, including Bone Room, were... actually, 1 room wasn't on here because that was the last one, but 2 rooms in Bone Room were... I hate this competition, don't do this again. And then there's 3 rooms, was 56% of the people said they would have done it, and almost 50% of the people said they want a sequel to this, so... 4 rooms is coming up. Let's see. Always thought Deceptionville had more potential, could never convince Philip to run it though. I think Deceptionville is also one I haven't really played too much, so I'll have to check that out again. But yeah, I think it's a decent enough idea. Oh hell yes, Companion Piece could use a comeback. I'm surprised it's been so long since the last Companion Piece. Honestly, I have forgot about it until I started making this. Expect map-based allows a lot more control over companions. I voted for Deception. I think it's a broad theme to result in different takes, but the overall vibe can be coherent. Yeah. I remember when 3 rooms was announced, and I thought it was the hardest logo I'd ever seen in Map Labs, but it just had to be 3 rooms. Bone Room replaced Halloween Cop, right? Yes, it replaced Halloween Horror 3 or 5. One of those 2. I can't remember. Yeah, it was 3, I think. Blowing your minds by skipping 4 and going right into 5 rooms. Oh yeah? How about 100 rooms? Yeah, Bone Room, yep. Bone Room. It was one of those early ones. I can't remember, honestly. I mean, that's... yeah, it was one of those early, it was an early one. What else we got here? Fracture Space. A lot of people said they would have entered it if they could, and they want to seek just a sequel to this, so it'll probably just... It might just be a flat-out sequel. We'll just do a Fracture Space 2. Let's see, because I like the idea of just, like, alternate timelines and stuff. Of course, Halloween horrors. Always gonna do some Halloween horrors. Yeah. Let's see. All right, final thoughts. Someone suggested some gold source mapping for like condition 0 deleted scenes and stuff. Again, like, I think gold source is hard enough to get people. It's probably going to be hard enough to get people to do as it is. So we'll probably just stick to Half-Life if we try Half-Life 1 if you try that. It just means you're number 3. That's what it means. You know. I've got a certain individual begging, hands up in the air, down on their knees, begging at my feet for a workshop competition. So I think if we did a workshop competition for Half-Life 2, it would probably just be something very simple. Either just like make a standard Half-Life 2, like a back to basics type competition where like there's not really like a specific theme. It's just kind of just make a Half-Life 2 style, like a standard Half-Life 2 style map. Just something so that people can like get more stuff to play or something like that. I don't think I want to do anything too overly ambitious with the workshop, considering we can't even use map base on there. So yeah. One thing I do like about room comps is where everyone struggles with what a room is. It's funny to watch. Yeah, I think if I did I was thinking about this, but if I did a 4 rooms or another X rooms comp, I would have a I would bite into the joke a little bit and like have like a infomercial type video about what a room is. Okay, here's something that somebody suggested. I like the idea of it. I don't know the logistics behind it, and I honestly don't want to have any cash investment into this idea. So if anybody has suggestions on how I can do this for free while letting it looking nice, feel free to let me know. But people are suggesting that we get a website, and like that way we can they said specifically the community has a lot of has an archive of loads of cool maps made over the years, but it feel like a lot of it has been forgotten over time, so it's hard to find maps from memory. It would be cool to have a website or something like a catalog of all the entries with every screenshot to search through them, or with screenshots to search through them. I like the idea of that. I just don't know how it necessarily I'd pull it off without it looking like a mess. There's a couple people suggesting some kind of like a website or something like that. Once Sandbox stabilized, maybe we could do a comp for it. It's a good idea. I mean, yeah, I mean, it basically is already RTSL, but Yeah, Google Sheets are not the greatest with trying to get pictures. Yeah, RTSL's only Half-Life. You could do some pretty good like stuff with GitHub. I'm pretty sure you can make GitHub websites with like CSS themes and stuff. So it wouldn't be too terrible. I just haven't looked into that. That's something I can think about. Yeah, for the most part, this section was just a lot of people leaving some nice notes for me. Everything. I got this one that I'm gonna read to you guys. Because final thoughts. This is what they wanted to say. No VR/Half-Life Alyx map competitions. I am repeating myself, but please do not host these map competitions that require $999 devices that can only play 5 games. Number 2, Team Fortress will die in 2030. TF2 was good, but it became over-bloated in size with maps, updates, hats. I don't see any kind of future that this game will have. You need Albert Einstein levels of configuration to even have decent playable experience. Absolutely no place for new players. 70 gigabytes for what? Only broken casual servers and 24/7 servers. Team Fortress 2 YouTube is all about the broken state of the game, unfunny Reddit memes, boring weapon reviews, casino and hats, useless SFM versions of memes, infinite clones, and that one specific TF2 SFM movie video series called Serverlight. Valve has not fixed any global problem that makes the game unplayable. TF2 fans should never stop talking about problems until it gets to Valve. Valve did not bring back quick play to the game. Don't think I can help you there, buddy, because I'm not Valve. But thanks for the information. Anyways. Like seeing all the reviews come in after the fact because there's a little delay. Yeah, so I didn't specifically go over it for TF2, or not TF2, Trouble in Terrorist Town. It was mostly like I didn't participate, I didn't want to. There was still a chunk of people who said they still wanted to see a sequel to it, which I mean, we'll probably do it. We'll do more Gmod stuff in general, but we're gonna probably take a break from doing Trouble in Terrorist Town the next time we do one, like a Gmod competition, just to get away from that. But it's something that we can still plan for. He's out of line, but he's right. Strong hater energy. Yeah. Yeah, I know Prop Hunt was something that was planned, but I don't, I wasn't the one that was taking that over, so I don't know what happened to that. All right, here's an idea that I had that I was thinking about while I was watching these responses come in, and I'm thinking about the idea of bringing in people who I've had a lot of people reach, like, DM me and be like, hey, what can I do to help App Labs, you know? And I was thinking about bringing in a very small select group of people who would basically help me design things for the competitions, such as, like, you know, like graphics, or coming up with like narrowing down the themes and stuff like that. That would help competitions come out a little faster, instead of relying on me creating 100% of everything, because that's what's going on right now. Is I'm creating all of the assets and all that kind of stuff in between my 2 days off. So it causes things to slow down, obviously. If this group of people, like if we did this thing where we brought in a group of people to help behind the scenes, it would probably be a similar situation. Well, probably it would be most likely be a similar situation where if you were a like a guest judge or something like that, like you could still enter competitions, but you would not win. You would be considered a bonus entry. And it would just kind of help take some of the workload off of my shoulders so we can get more stuff out for everybody else. So I don't know if that's something that's interesting for other people to do. If it is, please let me know, because I'm on board for this idea. But yeah, I didn't write the final words when I was just Dario, but I second. Please no VR. I mean, it's fine. People can do it. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any plans to run another VR comp. I just wanted to see what people thought about the theme ideas in general. Right, yeah. That's kind of like what kind of happened, is because I had no graphic design experience when I had no graphic design experience when I started this, so these logos have kind of been not up to the same standards as everything else. Like I kind of like the grid 2 logo and the Fracture Space logos I did. Everything else is kind of but I'm getting there. Damn, I want and can help, but my ego requires competing. What a dilemma. Graphic design is my passion. Yeah, graphic design is my passion. Yeah, so if that's something that anyone here is interested in, just reach out to me and that way I can have your name in consideration and I can see what the staff think about that kind of idea. Obviously you wouldn't have any access to any of the staff channels. It'd be a like a separate thing that we can all discuss in like a separate channel. But obviously, like, it would be only for those select people to be in. But other than that, that kind of wraps up everything from the survey. Kind of went over a lot of stuff on here. If anyone has any questions that I didn't go over or wants to say anything, now is the chance to do so. Yeah, box channel. Yeah. That would probably be like make some background maps, for example, killing at builds, preparing. Yeah, like anything that can help. It'd be anything. Like whatever helps get this load off my shoulders is helpful. Background maps, for the most part. Preparing assets. Yeah. For the most part, like unless somebody else is like willing to do the like I would like somebody else to help me do the logos, but I'll take whatever help I can get. Will I have access to Green Talk again? I don't know. Should we bring back Green Talk? All the feedback was to add more NPCs. Yeah, I don't know the the workload behind that, but that's something we can figure out. I would say for the record that if a green talk came back, it was being used to post the dev builds before. That would not happen again. That would strictly stick to the dev talk channel, because obviously that makes sense. We want people who are only the people who are involved with it to be touching that. What were the reasons Green Talk were archived? Wasn't it something I like to do with showcasing happening there? Yeah, I think when there was a lot more people active at the time, and it kind of just separated people who won into that category, and a lot of the discussions were just happening in there instead. I think it'd be, I think having the Green Talk channel come back is like a 50-50. Like, yeah, I get why it was archived, but also like I can also see people it'd probably be a better place to gather like more direct feedback. If like, how many people are in this now? There's 70 people in here compared to the 600 people that are in the normal discussion chat. Like, I guarantee a lot of those people aren't active either. I know, just there's a post from Waylon that says, we initially created this channel to help manage dev builds. However, the number of people in this channel quickly exploded, and it actually became harder for us to use this channel for that. There's now now a separate channel where we just cycle up the entrance so it's easier to organize, which means the channel's original purpose is defunct. However, yes, this channel is used, but it's used to post work in progress, which could easily just go in productive entries, and the finished work can go in productive general. Discussion off topic can just go in off topic and discussion. People have posted inspiration stuff in here, and you know, inspiration, even the support channels are stuck into this one. Oftentimes that support would be more useful in those channels, since everyone can see it. At this point, this channel has changed into an amalgam of all those channels, but by the way of exclusionary, because only a fraction of the server can see it. Basically, it's just a cool kids club. Have you considered people to vote for what theme the next comp could be about? Like, for example, voting between different themes. I've considered that, but that would obviously just be, that would just be a, that would give away I think the comp, or the themes. But that would probably fit into my category of select people to be like, hey guys, here are my ideas. Which one do you think would be better? And that's giving me some more outside voices. I try to ask in the staff chats for feedback. And with the exception of Dawn, I don't really get much feedback. I know everybody's pretty busy, but there are people who just aren't around as frequently as they were again. So it kind of makes it a little bit harder to get feedback on that kind of stuff. You have to use a polling site that has real reveal results. You can come up with several themes, which is very potentially, every potentially get out a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think I did. I say that, but I think the ideas I have are all good enough. But yeah, I just don't want to, I just wouldn't want to give away the themes. How about credit entries? Yeah, I was going to go through and like kind of rework some of those channels, just to update them, because they haven't been touched for ages, and I just wanted to kind of like what was it? Like the volunteers. Oh, that's Niker. Yeah, I know. There's like a few channels in here that I wanted to go through back again and like kind of change. But yeah, the entries we can do that again. Yeah. It would need to be something that some supporters would come in and help, because 100% I'll forget. And that's the last one is from test tube 14. I'm already gonna have to go through, and I guess I don't necessarily need to redo all of the credits, but the last one was from the wrap up 2, which was 4 years ago. There's a credits chat. Under the archive section on the Discord, there's a section that says credit entries, and that's just it's just the names of all the entries with the developers attached to it. Yeah, I'm wondering if for the Green Talk, if I just remove the entrant requirement and just change it to the winners, and then that way I don't have to make another channel. I could just reuse that channel. Yeah, no, just because nowhere in the releases Armand was there a list. Yeah. Why would it be redundant? Because they're on RTSL or something? Oh yeah, but it's just nice to have it somewhere in the server as well, where people can see it. Hey, don't knock me for other people's promises. Yeah, so I started putting it. I was gonna start putting him on like the articles and such. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier that 1UP tried to get something going a little bit ago, but we had other plans in place already. So that's something we can talk about again for next year. I think specifically he wanted something like a season-based comp. So I'll bring it up to him again and see what he says. And it was going to be like a cross like a collab between the EZ2 server and ours, and it was going to be for the workshop. I can do that, but that would require me to download the current available like file, unpack it, create that credit file, put it back into the mod, and re-upload it. Oh, I don't even know if I can, like, I mean, I'm sure I could change that, but I can just go through and add it to the actual the page, and like, so it's on the page instead of inside the file. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. Let me just pull it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure I can edit the post. Yeah, I can edit them. Probably gonna try and wrap up here soon. Does anybody else have any other last thoughts or questions? Anything I want to talk about? Well, like I said, you can always just DM me and whatever. Bring forth the mecha crab. I'm off to bed. Thanks for the stream. Very nice. Thank you for stopping by and talking. Yeah, I don't know what the mecha crab is. I'm assuming it's that. I think I have a feeling I know what it is, but I don't. It seems like it's an RTSL thing from what I gathered. Just out of town. Parker's family, so missed out most of this edge. No, no worries. It's, I mean, it's gonna be like a upload, so if you want to scroll through it. I was gonna go through and I'm probably gonna still try and do that. Go through and chapter select everything, or chapter mark everything, but this turned into an almost 3-hour stream. What can I buy with 225 XP? You could probably buy like a Snickers bar. Mecha Crab was from RTSL, yep. I remember once a long time ago, I wrote lore for the Mecha Crab God. I never want to know what I wrote. I don't know the Mecha Crab, no I don't. Lol, really missing out on the old days. Nope, like I mentioned earlier, if anything from RTSL, I probably don't know what it is. RTSL's exclusive. Motherfucker has lost his fan privileges. I'm sorry, I stirred the hive there for a second. Chapter marking would be great if you can, but I see why. Yeah, it's huge. It's a lot. What other features from RTSL would be in Map Labs besides the Mecha Crab? You've upgraded to number 2. Congratulations. Most of my maps are RTSL. I need you to get them. Yeah, which ones have I played? I've played just the gravity gun freeze version. Module. Also, I shared nerd care set. How did you do the stream visuals? Did you take the time to map? This is a video I downloaded off of YouTube because I didn't want to stare at a blank screen. There's a gravity gun mode in RTSL that freezes props. Is that what the fizz gun thing is that people were suggesting? There's attack 3 for the air gravity gun, which could freeze prop. Okay, okay. Maybe. I mean, if I can get it, if I can figure out how to get that in there, maybe that's a thing we can consider. Modeling capabilities have certainly improved since the Mercs module, though. Man, there's a lot of bills. How did I'm missing out on a lot of content, I guess. I know I have let's see, what do I have installed? Oh, I have Fusionville, and I had what was it, there was like I was another one. It was one other one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I only played 2 of these. I think it was Liberationville. Man, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, man. That's crazy. Yeah, if you want to like send me a list of like what you think the top ones would be, I'm down to check them out. I'll do a stream on them and stuff. And there is actually, there's so many. Didn't realize there was this many I was missing out on. Maybe I should play the original Chromulet and see what's going on there. See, do I recognize any people from here? Eidolon, Straunt, Etho, Lucia, Matt, One-Upped. Those are the only people I recognize. Yeah, it sounds like a plan, Diker. Yeah, I'm always down to talk about it. Oh wow. This one actually only have one entry? Okay. I know people like, maybe this is why people want me to make a sequel to this Combine Baseville. What has to do with RTS mapping RTSL? I think it's, I don't know, it's just, I guess Don can answer that better. That'd be fun. I'd watch that, get my voice back out there a bit. Anyway, Red, lovely chatting for a bit. Can I go start getting ready for bed now? Thanks for all the work. Thank you. I remember the only entry comp, I don't remember which one. Yeah, Combine Baseville. Well, there's also, what was that voice overville that I was talking about the other day? Voiceville or something like that. Oh, Movieville also had only one entry. Oh wait, oh, it says various. Maybe that means more than what? There's 3 entries for that one. It's almost like, I mean, it's just like us calling them like atoms or test tubes. It's just a naming convention. Yeah, just something heavily involving a combine, like combine environments would be cool. Towns here, and I think in England, use "ville" as a suffix for town names. Yeah, yeah. Like burg and borough and all those other like town suffixes. Oh my god, can I speak? You know what I'm trying to say. Suffixes. Yeah, Voiceville got no entries. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking of. First villas were enemy themed, right? So Hunterville was like a village full of hunters. Yeah. Is there like a release date on the? Yeah, right here. Release date. Yeah, so it was like Sniperville, Hunterville, Rooftopville, Strider. So Sniperville, Hunterville, Rooftopville, Striderville, Gravity Gunville. Start off, looks like relatively simple. Chase, Verticalville, Alphabetville, Beginningville, Middleville, Endville. Interesting. That's a really good name. Evil. You just came up with the next title for Deceptionville. It was just Evil. See, you gotta think about this like this Map Labs is like the joke of like The Simpsons did it. Every time you come up with a competition idea, RTSL has already done it. So I'm pretty sure there's a Gravity Gunville. That's not to say we won't do it, but I just think it's funny. Just going back through all of these, and it's like, oh yeah, like, this is an idea I had that's already been done. Yeah. Yep, Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it. Now someone needs to make that image, and it's for RTSL, and post that in the Discord, and you'll get a shiny badge or something. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, it's called Fusionville. Hey, Don, were you ever around for the concept of when Wayland was trying to pitch war? I don't know if you know what that is. I was going through some of the old Map Labs ideas. It seemed like a would have been an interesting idea, but I don't know how how that would have been pulled off. That just seems like a. That was when I crossed it out. Didn't want any more bills. Ah. Yeah, I think I think Fusionville is just a better take on that idea. I mean, they're not exactly identical, but yeah, I think. Yeah. Like nowadays, it's probably not going to happen. But I thought it was just an interesting idea. There's a couple of ideas in here still that'd be interesting to do. Yeah. I got you. Alright, folks, I'm running on 3 hours. I was not intending it for to go this long. I've got some notes for some good ideas. I'm gonna chat with some of the staff and see what we can do. Maybe bring back Green Talk. Maybe bring in the inner circle, as I'll call it, of people who want to help me out. Judging the HH has brought back some feelings I could never stream judging because I rage too much. Oh man. Which ones are you having trouble with? Cromulent. Fuck, I'll write that down. Cromulent 3. The Five Nights one didn't work for me. It works, it's just very, very, very hard. That's from what I'm understanding, at least. Unless it doesn't actually work still. District 6, the chases. Yeah, the chases are a little frustrating, but I managed to get through that. I don't know, it's not really advertised very well, but you can, there's like distractions you can use to distract the chase. can't turn the generator. Oh. Oh, I think that was like a widescreen issue. I don't know if he figured that out. Oops. Maps I skip because I know I'm absolutely not going to get along with them, even if I can appreciate how impressive they are. Yeah. That's usually like what I was telling like I was telling people, like, as long as you give it a good effort and you can still make a good effort of giving a like valuable, like give it a fair judgment, then I don't, you don't have to complete the whole thing. Yeah, I think he was saying there was an issue on ultra wide because it's like a screen, it's actually like a button on the screen that you need to push, and it's so because you're on ultra wide, the button is probably way off to the side. I think the stealth gameplay in that works. It's just you just need to tell people that they can do certain things to distract the person. I don't remember what was the last chase. I can't remember that one. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah. I actually didn't get through that too bad. I don't think I think I just got lucky with my pacing. Yeah, that one was good. That was a good room. Lock Kyle in a room, force him to write some kind of selfie script that works perfectly for everyone all the time. Yep. I'm gonna screenshot that and send it to him right now. he was typing something and then deleted his response. I already did it 2 years ago. That wouldn't be insane. What? Oh my god, he's right.
Yeah, I'm about to take off here too. Thank you for coming by, Dawn. Thank you for everybody else. Like I said, if anybody else has anything else they want to like chat about or anything, just feel free to DM me or whatever. We can keep talking. You will retire as #1 undefeated as soon as I close the stream down, and you will be #1 forever. All right. Thank you for stopping by, everybody. It's been fun reading all this and coming up with new ideas and stuff. Hopefully next year will be very fun. We will take a look at all that and see what we can do. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. We'll be because I gotta get up and stretch. I've been sitting here for 3 hours now. Bye bye.